By the way, I've brought tea as well, so I 100% believe that this is going to be a disaster.
Few moments later.
Oh, I knew I was going to spill the tea. Hold on.
Welcome back to another book club, guys. So, November read was arguably decided by all of us, but Bethany. It's The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. A few of us only finished it today. Me.
A few of us only started it today.
I mean, good job for getting it, though.
I got the entire thing done today. I was very proud of myself.
That's an impressive effort.
Yeah, I know.
I've done that.
No anxiety whatsoever in that.
I only had 70 pages, and that was enough.
I had 370 pages.
All right. I have notes. These notes were prepared pre the last 70 pages, so I might think of things.
Mhm.
Okay. However, let's start with the plot, because I want to talk about the overarching storyline and the theme. What do people think? I will just pass off to Emily first.
There was a lot going on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Do you think it was
That about sums it up?
I think it was juggled well?
Yeah, I guess, like I said, I finished it a week ago and now I'm struggling. But no, I think it was, I thought sometimes I felt that like it was, there were booksellers and there was this mythological creature and then there was this other one and then another one and then we go here and there's someone else and I was, I need a bit of, but overall I thought the ideas were interesting, but yeah, maybe a bit chaotic in the execution.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying to Bethany that there were like lots of little scenes. It basically just felt like a compilation of moments, this entire book.
Yeah, that's a good.
We would have benefited more if they'd made it sort of like, I've read the Spiderwick Chronicles, so I was comparing it to that, where it was just like, this was a short thing that happened. This is 100 pages of it. Here's one whole book. Here's a second book where something happened and it just goes on for 5 books, but it's a whole story that connects. And I kind of benefited if it did that sort of structure. It also would have more lore and character development, which would have been
That was my main gripe. I felt like a lot of the times I was like, because it was so plot driven and so like rapid fire hitting with new information all the time, it was a bit hard to like remember every detail about the ancient sovereigns and the old ones. And I was like, who's that? And I was like, oh, they were introduced 4 chapters ago. Well, oh no, it's gone now. So it was definitely difficult to keep track at points, but yeah, I feel like it was a lot of information thrown at once that the author just expected you to remember, and if you didn't, that was on you. And I was like, well, that's fine, I guess. But it made it a bit difficult to kind of not care as much when things happened, because I did care for the most part, but like I didn't feel as attached to some characters apart from the main 3 pretty much at all, really.
Main 3 and Mrs. L.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it was cool.
I
felt
like
right.
Chaos. The chaos. I love chaos. I love Douglas Adams because of the chaos. So that worked out well because of balance. But yeah, I think it could have benefited from expanding more, even if he took time to just create like even a second book just so we could flesh out more things. It would have worked better.
Before I read the last 70 pages, I swear it was going to have a sequel, because I was like, oh, this feels like the end of like this chapter, but they're going to continue on the second book. Why do I still have 100 pages left to read?
Right?
Yes.
even Susan, she was like, cool, we done now? And they were like, no.
Literally.
No.
We should be.
Yes.
You're right. It definitely would have been better with the second book.
And even then I was expecting something in the epilogue, and then I was like, oh, well, never mind. Not really.
Yeah.
Into the home.
What was that epilogue? Literally just kind of like, oh, we've gone home now. My ex-boyfriend's got a girlfriend.
Yeah. Suddenly the mum remembers everything. It's like, oh, cool. Well, good on you.
Yeah.
No explanation given.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It didn't really feel like an epilogue. It just felt like the last chapter of a book. Like with an epilogue, you like it's an extension somehow. It's not just part of that story that you were reading.
Yeah.
You know what? Hot tea here. It kind of felt like how I felt about the 17 years later at the end of Harry Potter 7.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary, but it was there.
It makes you smile. That's it.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's its job.
Yeah.
It's a thing that happened.
It took me most of the book to realize that Susan had a closely shaved head. I just missed that detail in the first chapter. And I don't know how.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then I got to the end and I was like, oh, I've been picturing
That's
her all wrong.
Was it her whole head? I feel like I had her like one side buzz cut and one side something else. Maybe I just made that up.
No, just
I mean, it would work.
I know, because I read the whole thing today.
Remember distinct. Yeah.
What did you guys think of the decade chosen for the book?
Half the time I forgot that it wasn't just set now.
I was kind of unsure why they chose to put it there, besides maybe just they didn't want to use modern technology.
I recently read, this sounds like a little bit of a deviation from the conversation, but I swear I'm going to come back to it. I recently read Ready Player One, the $1,000 Readathon, and I constantly felt like the only reason why they chose the 80s memorabilia is because he wanted to name drop so many things that happened. And I felt like that happened a lot in the book. Especially like when it was talking about the authors and the books as well. And I'm like, hey, I do actually know that book, but also that has nothing to do with what's currently going on. Stop ranting. I know.
Yeah.
They named the Princess Bride, and I messaged Bethany, and I was like, we can't escape this.
Bethany literally tabbed that out. Hang on, I need to find it. I can't, hang on.
She just messaged back, and she was like, oh, you're up to that part.
Oh, no.
Can't do anything with gloves on. Hold on. Yeah, she has actually tabbed it out, I swear. Right there.
There it is.
There it is.
That's a fun thing about reading books after Bethany is that she's already prepared it for me.
Love it.
All right, gloves come back on now.
It was kind of interesting, like that. This is probably something you've got written down to discuss later, and I'm going to just go for it now anyway.
Go for it.
That like it was supposed to be historical, like it was supposed to be an alternate London, not just like historical fantasy. And I spotted like a couple of things where he had actually changed something from our world. So like they have an actress. They had an actress called Denise Waterman, where it's Dennis Waterman.
Dennis, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was like literally the only thing I spotted that was different. And I was like, I feel like could have done more with that. Maybe I missed some, but I felt like most of the references were things where I was just like, oh yeah, that's something I'm familiar with.
I feel like it would have been.
This checks out.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been fun with the name drops to tweak them slightly. Maybe he did and I didn't pay attention, but
yeah, maybe same.
I
don't know.
Yeah, like The Princess Bride was actually a good book.
I love that. Are you sipping tea right after you made that joke?
Yes, I am.
I love it.
I'm here for the content.
Also, did anyone else find some typos? I found a few and I was surprised.
I'll say this.
Were they bad?
Listening to the audiobook and there were two different versions.
Oh.
Many words are actually different in the audiobook as opposed to this book. Don't know.
Interesting. There was like a couple.
Version, but it only came out in September, so why would he rewrite it?
Yeah.
Like,
maybe they didn't record the final version or something. Like if the audiobook was coming out at the same time as the.
I don't know.
Bizarre.
It's literally like the tiniest thing. Like I think they said wisps instead of tendrils during like the bit at the end. So, like that's the only thing it really was, but it did kind of irk me a little bit.
That's like me reading Narnia after listening to my audiobooks, because they do a similar thing, because it's easier to verbally say the way they've written it than how it's originally written.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So like when I first picked it up in primary school, I was like, this is incorrect.
It's wrong.
Because no one is more professional than Ashley about this subject. I'm tea with my hot takes. Oh my gosh.
Also, you do it with like the non-gloved hands, so if you burn yourself,
I
Pretty
can't.
hilarious.
I can't do anything with my gloved hand. I'm genuinely concerned. Also, there's lipstick on this side now, so it doesn't look as good.
What did we think of the three main characters?
Merlin
was a ball of fun.
series.
Yeah, I really
That's my thought.
I liked Vivian, I think, just because I found her the most relatable of the three of them. Because she was the researcher and the nerdy one.
I like that Susan took everything with face value. That was nice.
Really did.
Like the whole binding yourself to something. She was just on top of that. I would have been like, what was it again?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Especially with the code, like, yeah, I'll just jump into it. She'll be right. I know what's going to happen.
I'll jump into it, grab it from the top. I'd be so unprepared.
Right?
I'll stick my
Like
hand
a
out.
collarbone, it happens.
The first time she tried binding something, I think when she was trying to bind Holly, and he was like, "Oh, you forgot to say the words." I was like, "Oh yeah," because I'm sure there's like some incantation that she doesn't know, and blah blah blah. And then it was just like, no, they had actually told her exactly what she needed to say, and she just forgot. And then said it the next time, and it was great.
At least it wasn't complicated phrase either.
It's true.
That's true.
And they didn't seem like a stickler for words. Like she said basically what he told her to, but not exact. So it was like, it's okay. They have leniency with this.
Yeah. Honestly, who can blame her? Oh man.
What did we think of Merlin and his gender fluidity?
It was cool.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I appreciated the fact that he could rock the dress more than Vivian could.
Right? Yeah.
I also like
And
they
I
got
like
jealous over the boiler suit.
Into his hotel room, and it was just like you couldn't move for the racks of clothes.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I
I did feel like the sorry.
No, keep going.
I did feel like the romance element between him and Susan was a little bit sorry.
Yeah.
I felt like it was really rushed and clunky. I felt like they didn't have any sort of chemistry whatsoever beyond just stating, hey, Susan found him attractive and he thought he liked her walk or something, and then they just kiss and it's they're together now.
Yeah. I actually would have preferred if they hadn't kissed and it had still been like so hey, like, remember how I said like let's go out for a drink or something? Like, let's just try that instead of like, yes, it's now like.
It was a weird time to kiss.
It was.
Vivian was just there.
See, like, that's one of the things that I like to pick out when I'm writing things. I know I should not be critiquing a professional published author who has written very successful series.
Not do it though.
Continue to make very snarky comments from Vivian's part. Just saying. It would have been fun.
Would have been good.
I do like the descriptions of people though, like females and general descriptions. Like some male authors choose to describe women in a certain way, whereas he described.
Can you play one?
Good note. But he did. I liked his descriptions. They were straightforward, and I'm like, cool. I visualize it now. Good job. That's all I needed. Did you guys have a favorite character besides ones we've mentioned? Any characters that stood out?
I like that Audrey had a Cockney accent just when she wanted to have a Cockney accent.
She
just felt like it.
Yeah.
I was like, I respect it.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Give it time.
Dare I say it? I liked Helen and Zoe.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I like those guys. They were good. Do we feel like we have a firm understanding of how the booksellers work?
Absolutely not. No. Not in the slightest. I just rolled with it.
The most I got was sticking hands into a cauldron, and I got sidetracked because I was like, so Asterix and Obelix?
Kinda.
Yeah.
And then Susan
They can
got
do
thrown in
magic when
entirely.
they want sometimes, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And left hands and right hands are different. Also poetry.
Also poetry.
And also you can swap, because Vivian was like, I'm right-handed now. But then
She's
it
not
seemed
both-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it was like this whole thing that like, being even-handed is really rare and like special. So you obviously can't choose to just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, mystical grandmothers in your basement.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
With real angry dogs sometimes.
Who can leave the basement?
Actually, yeah.
I don't understand.
Also, glass flowers and blood.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
many things.
Angry goblins that love to dance. Just
Actually, that was one of my favorite bits, like the Mayfair.
it was really well done, I thought. Yeah. I really liked that.
So easily.
Yeah, I would be sucked in straight away.
Yeah, same.
Oh, that was another part I did really like when they were on the way to Silvermere, I think it was called.
Mhm.
And they like did a really good job of showing like how easily you could be distracted in that moment with like just music behind you and like eyes staring at you constantly. I was like, you did really well like immersing that.
Just saying though, Merlin just belting out Gilbert and Sullivan is such a
Yes.
So good.
That was sick. Oh man. Oh, that was another part that kind of agitated me a lot. There was a point where Susan had just been kidnapped and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And then they're talking about literature for like 2 minutes. And I'm like, hey, your friend's just been kidnapped and might die.
Yep.
And she's set up to be the most popular, well, like most important character in the world, possibly. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to talk about books for a couple minutes before we take this taxi. That's a good idea.
See, that's one of the bits that reminded me of Ready Player One because they just casually throw in these references without any sort of nuance.
Relevance.
They,
I
yeah,
really
they could
wanted
have
to
talked
like Ready
about
Player
it.
One, but
They could have talked about it while moving.
Yeah.
It was a
multitask.
possibility.
It's a long taxi drive.
Yeah. So they're just talking like, get in the freaking car. Like, oh, it's fine.
Also, the way
Also,
they,
sorry.
keep going.
T, let's go.
He had that moment where he murdered the police officer, and then after that he's like, oh no, it's only people that I've killed that I have a problem with. I'm like, what?
I need poetry to calm down.
Gotta read. It's like, oh no.
There's just so much of this book that's just, yeah, okay, this is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of didn't mind that because, again, chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it deserves a second book, but
Yeah.
I liked being thrown into chaos.
Because I think with the second
feel like
book,
it
you can
could-
do so much more world building as well and actually like help
Mm.
us know what the heck is happening with these characters and like, yeah, just make it a lot more easy to care because right now it was just plot like the entire way through.
Exactly.
What were you saying, Elly?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, sorry. Oh, God.
No, I've been like going on a train of thought this entire time. I think I was just saying, like going back to the world building. Hold on.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
coming. I think it could have been so much better if it did actually take that time and, you know, to establish the world, what these people are doing, who they are. And a lot of the stuff that was in the book could have been cut and replaced with more character moments that could have been so much better. Definitely does need a sequel. If only like pull in those moments. I just wish it was in the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like
I think it would help with raising the stakes as well. Like everything was solved within a couple of chapters and you're on to the next monster and then the next one.
Yeah.
And then when you sit and talk for 2 minutes about literature before you're going anywhere, it doesn't really make you feel like there's a sense of imminent danger.
Mhm.
I feel like we're all at a similar level to the police officer Green, where we have enough information that we can follow along to a point, but they won't answer our questions.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on.
It's like for the majority of the book, we're following Susan's perspective, and she doesn't know what the heck's happening for the majority of it. So why would we? It's like, oh, we'll work it out, I guess. Did we? No.
No, not at all. Did anyone see the Merrihew betrayal coming?
Yeah. Like the moment
Start.
right after they were introduced, really. Because there's one point where they were like, hey, is Susan's life in danger? And her and Thurston like, nah. And Merlin's like, well, yes. And they're so casual about it. And I was like, either they're really, really old and don't care about anything, or they're lying, deceitful, horrible people. And I was like,
Turned out it was both.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. I didn't see it coming, but like when it happened, it didn't surprise me. I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Them and Holly, I was like, there's not a chance.
I knew there was something up with him. Yeah.
I knew he was a douche right away because that was plain as day. And I was like, there's got to be something more than just that. And it turns out he's an old god one thing.
Yeah.
This is the kind of book that would just throw a character in just cause, though.
Yeah.
True. I knew it was on the wrong track because I put on Goodreads something about like there's something up with Reg Holly, and then Bethany commented on it with a like lip sealed emoji, and I was like,
oh, well, all right, that'll do it.
Is it working?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You made it.
She was having a bit of a time.
Finally. I think my computer needs to have a nap after this.
I think you need a new computer, to be honest. You need a new computer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Probably need to pay my bills and my rent before that happens. One day. But don't say it too loud, or otherwise my computer will hear that I want to replace it.
It just shuts down.
Immediately.
Don't, knock on wood, everyone. Trust it.
there you go.
Thank you.
Out of curiosity, what did you guys visualize Merrihew and Thurston as? Like, how did you see them?
Boomers.
Okay. This is really specific.
Oh, I knew I was going to spill the tea. Hold on.
Twice in one video. Wow.
I said it. Ashley can verify before this even started. Oh my! I'm just gonna. That
There's so much happening right now.
I'm so sorry.
Elly, I have so many bits to open this video with now. I thank you.
Like I said, I'm here for the content.
Okay, yeah. Emily, what was your specific visual?
This is very specific, and it's weird because I don't even actually watch the Great British Bake Off. But like, I think her name's Mary, the judge.
Yes.
I get that.
That was she. I don't know why she was Merrihew in my head, but she was. And Thurston, I don't even know what I meant him. He was just
a white man.
Yeah, next to Lady.
Yeah.
Ash, did you have anything specific?
My mind went real weird. I went to, so in Ocarina of Time, I'm just going to nerd out. In Ocarina of Time, the giant King Zora that's sitting in front of you have to go in to fight the whale when, like, Link's still a kid. It's like this giant fish man who's like 10 foot tall, and he moves by sidling his butt across the stage for like 20 seconds. You just have to watch.
I love this for people who don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, they'll have no context. Google it. It's fine. But I pictured that.
I don't want to be honest.
Oh no, you don't. It's not a good time. But I pictured like that, but like in human form, but still that slow to the point where it's just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And like, 10 foot tall, slow, lazy old people.
Yep.
There you go.
But same.
Felt it in my core, man.
Elly, did you, because you read it most recently, do you have any visual elements?
I know I just said that. I know I said boomers as a joke, but it's actually kind of true. Like the way that I pictured them were just like the really grumpy, old, grey-haired people who just are never happy. That's how I pictured them. They were bickering with each other constantly. They were just not very happy. So yes, I do get the whole Mary. I cannot remember her name for the life of me, and I'm gonna.
I have no idea.
British Bake Off. Yeah.
That lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have like any specific visuals because they were just generic old people to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had an initial reaction, and it was a series of unfortunate events, and it was the woman with hair and no beard, and the man with a beard and no hair.
No hair.
That's how I pictured them side by side. But then also my brain was like, Merrihew could be played by Helen Mirren, That was my other reaction.
I can see that.
Yep, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It was when she brought out the gun.
Good casting.
Yeah, fair.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
This tracks.
You know what's actually really funny though is that when I was listening to the audiobook, she sounded a lot like Maggie Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was because
Yeah.
she was the one with the Scottish accent, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
who sounded like Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man,
Which
I
was
wish I could do
a
a
fun-
Scottish accent.
Look,
Yeah.
honestly, the audiobook, even though I didn't like the book in general, but the voices of the girl who did the audiobook were exceptional. Absolutely.
Cool.
When she did the accents really well and she flipped between them super easily, like honestly, props to her.
Nice.
Nice.
I love a good audiobook person, reader. Yeah. Yeah, you know, person.
Person reader.
Looking up
Narrator?
There
Yeah,
we go.
that's
That'll do.
fine.
I want to jump back quickly to Merlin,
Mm-hmm.
just because I feel like he arguably has the most depth for me out of all the characters. And I want to go back to the way he's described, specifically when he's like flipping between genders, because it's said in such like a nonchalant way that I didn't realize at first. It hadn't clicked until they mentioned it a second time. And I was like, oh, this is a thing he can do, which they
But he
don't
the first
actually
one I
does
read-
it.
Yeah, they don't
Hmm.
really explain again, but he can do it.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
And I'm like, is that something
Yeah.
that all left-handers can do? Or it's just like
Yeah.
for fun,
Like, is it a
figured it
talent
out?
thing? Like, you know.
'Cause the
Yeah,
first
he
time I
gives
read it, I
strong.
brushed through it as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, dude just rocks dresses. Heck yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, he's actually doing like, yeah.
Yeah, because they still
Yeah.
mention Merlin as a he throughout the entire book, regardless of what
Yeah.
he looks like, which is probably why I didn't notice it at first.
Yeah, exactly.
I also wanted
When
to make a-
Vivian was first introduced,
Mm.
sorry,
No, you're all good. I was going to
is
go
my
on something
internet
else.
really
Keep
that bad that I'm lagging?
going. No, you're all good.
Okay.
You're good.
When Vivian was first introduced and she was like introduced, I can't remember, it was like a pantsuit or something. I don't know. Like quite masculine in the way that she was dressed while Merlin was dressed in a dress. I thought that was a dynamic that they were going to play on and they didn't. So I was sad.
Yeah.
They like introduced it and they went, yeah, we're done here with that. I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I didn't
That was like a
mind
big
that-
thing for ladies in that time to have that more masculine.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind that they left it alone though, because sometimes I prefer if they're just like, this is what it is, and then
Yeah.
don't make a big thing of it.
Fair point.
I wanted to make a note of the way he writes action scenes, because I always find this interesting, comparing to different authors how they do with action, because some people struggle, some people don't. I personally really enjoyed the way he did his action scenes. I felt like a lot was happening at once, but it felt like I was watching it happen and I could understand what was going on around me.
I agree. I was really able to visualize what was going, particularly the one in like the safe house, the attack with like there was like the goblins were in the roof and then
with the cauldron born. Yeah.
the cauldron born was outside but I think the way he switched points of view was really well done. So you never sort of got lost, which is good.
That was really well done. Yeah. That was probably my favorite action scene because it felt a lot more fleshed out than.
Yeah.
I mean, the other ones were really well done, but like this one, it was clear as day what was happening, and you were like just invested in it. And it started with like a rush as well of just, oi, wake up, we're in this happening now. I was like, that was really well done.
Yeah. And like with the ceiling collapsing and everything, that was
Yeah.
good. I'm still kind of confused how dead bodies and Mercury make a border crossing, but
It was the blood, wasn't it?
yeah,
Blood and
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were like, we'll just take the whole body.
Yeah. No, just slicing your palm here.
Yeah.
Just like-
No, just chuck a corpse at it. And we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No cutting corners, guys.
Need to make sure
Right,
there's all the
the whole
blood.
thing.
Did you guys have any other?
Isn't that the plot line in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Huh?
Like at the
Kind
end of
of.
Pirates of the Caribbean, where
Kind
it's like,
of.
oh, you know, let's not take any chances. Let's use all the blood and cut her head off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Like, still on time.
I was like, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Good one.
kind of final thought. I don't know if this will make the final cut because it was a really weird thing that happened. So I was reading this book for the Australian Reading Hour. I was talking to Beth about this yesterday, and my friend commented saying that she just finished Trouble Twisters by Garth Nix and tagged his like Facebook page. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, is it worth reading? But I kind of worded it like that in a sense that it could also be heard as, oh, is it garbage or is it decent? And I said that casually, and then I realized she tagged the page, and I was like, oh, she's tagged like his public Facebook page. Turns out she's friends with the author, and I realized 2 mutual friends, add friend is an option. I was like, that's terrifying that he's probably seen that comment now, which is fine.
He's pretty chill. I've met him at a couple of launches. I'm sure.
That's good.
It's
That's
all
good.
good.
Are you one of the mutual friends?
No.
So it turns out he grew up in Canberra. Well,
hey.
he grew up in
he grew up
Canberra,
here.
which is that was news to me. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. My friend worked at Electric Shadows bookshop for a while we were at uni, and there was a time when this woman came in and like was like, oh, how is like the new Garth Nix book selling? And she was like, oh yeah, it's doing like really well. Like, he's a really popular author, and he sold all these books. And then the woman goes, yes, I know, he's my son. And
What a power move.
My gosh. She didn't need to set you up like that.
It was my friend, not me, but yeah, she was just like, so that happened.
Oh.
Are you just taking notes from when Swell gets public and you're like, my friends are like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew them before.
Do you guys think you'd read any more of his stuff?
I might read a sequel if
one
it
that I
comes out.
haven't read yet. So I'll read that, but then I don't know. Because the first book that I read by him, I wasn't that into either. So
That's right.
wanna
'cause you were the one person who'd read it before, like a different one from him. Yeah. Sorry, Elly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you again.
Oh, honestly, I think my computer is lagging because I keep on talking over people and I feel terrible.
It's fine.
But yeah, I do want to try and read Sabriel, which is the Old World series. Mostly because I actually do have some personal connections with that. Not like I made friends with somebody because of that book, and they don't remember that, so I'm not going to tell you who it is. But yeah, I do want to read that book because of that moment where it actually sparked the conversation. And I'm like, hey, that was important, and I want to know if it was actually important enough to this friendship by being. So that's just me.
Do you guys think you'd read this one again?
Had a sequel.
Maybe depending on when the sequel comes out, I might brush through it for the sequel, but otherwise, it'll sit in the shelf.
Is there even room for a sequel? It really did. The ending was.
I don't know.
I think I would like.
Dad is found. Like, Mum's all good again. Like,
maybe a prequel instead, where they have different characters near the beginning of like the closer to the beginning of bookseller things.
In the 1880s. In the 1880s with Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
There we go.
I love like supernatural Jack the Ripper.
Ash,
me too.
your friend Garth Nix on Facebook, so you can tell him.
Yeah. Actually, I think
a spy on the inside.
Well, he did. No, I don't think he followed me on Twitter, but he liked my tweets. Garth Nix, that is.
That's enough. You're basically in.
Right.
Actually, we are in the presence of celebrities.
We are. Can we have your autographs, please?
Send them through mail.
I think I would read this book again. Like, I think I enjoyed it enough that I would read it again, and I don't say that for a lot of books. But chaotic thing.
I mean, I'd possibly like if I were, because I think part of the reason I found it so exhausting is because I was tired in real life, and then I sat down to read, and there's so much going on. I was just like, yeah. So maybe reading it at a quieter time, I might be able to take more in.
That might help.
Yeah.
I read this mostly.
Well, I'll tell you this: the reason why I waited to read it. Sorry.
Go, keep going. You're fine. You're fine.
The reason why I waited to read it until today was because I was doing the $1,000 readathon and I just didn't have time to fit it in. So I was exhausted while reading it too. Not like you can.
I didn't get to put it against a prompt for the readathon. So instead I was just reading it on lunch breaks at work. And it was like going from one chaotic environment in real life to going to a chaotic environment in a book. But it was like a small amount of escapism because I didn't have to deal with the chaos in the book.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just go along for the ride. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other final thoughts, guys, before I ask the final question?
I like that the moment the scarecrow was introduced, my brain went, that's not right. That shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Just
Because
Really?
everything else in the book was
always
believable.
suspicious.
Honestly, I was so sus of everything after that. Like, even leading up to that, I was like, everything here is evil and wrong, and something's going to happen.
I just went to Doctor Who because I was like, it's fine. It's just a scarecrow. But my brain went to Doctor Who where there's an evil scarecrow. And then it was evil. And I was like, oh no. They're back. All right. Final question. Do you think you would be better as a left or right-handed bookseller or an even-handed?
Not left.
I don't know what the distinction is clear enough to even know, to be honest.
Left is more like field work, doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The right-hand is more knowledgeable and seem to use their brain power more.
I mean, I do work in a library, which is practically...
You're already there.
That helps.
Yeah.
Go find their cauldron.
Yeah.
I should probably mention that I'm also a bookseller.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Yep.
I don't want to say I'm smart because I'm not. So I'll probably go left and just run around in the field.
Hey, no self-deprecating
That'll
on this
do.
book club.
How dare you? I'll do any time. But yeah, I think it'd be more fun being left-handed, even though, it might die, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's a risk you take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I just wanted to ask, do you think Susan would be left, right, or even?
I think she's even.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Depends on which hand she kept out of the cauldron.
I think she kept her
Oh,
right hand
true.
out, I think,
I can't remember.
from memory.
Yeah, I don't
I just thought
remember.
didn't mention. That's what I thought.
Mm.
Also, I like that she found the loophole in
Yeah, that was
the
good.
cauldron.
I love that. Yeah, after she discovered her dad's power, she went from not knowing anything to, I just somehow know everything in the world now,
Yeah,
and I'll
that
just
was-
use that when I need to.
It was very
And nobody's
convenient.
Nobody
Yeah.
questions it. This
Mhm.
lady she's never met before, she knows the name of, and the lady's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Bye.
Yeah. Enjoy your bacon sandwich. Like, yeah, I will. Cool.
See you later, Your Majesty.
I mean, it definitely helps the plot because it means you don't have to ask any more questions. Like, oh, she just knows now. That's okay.
No, but we
Yeah.
want the questions.
Yeah. Dang it. But after 300 pages, I was like, yeah, okay. Just tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What about you, Ashley? Sorry, because I interrupted you.
I don't remember where my thought process was going.
Left hand or even? You.
Right.
I think I would be right, but I think I wouldn't be against even or switching to left at any point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me where to go and I'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all I had for this. That were all my questions.
Before we sign off, I just wanted to mention thank you again for coming to our book club. And I just wanted to mention that our next book club read is going to be Wild Winter Swan by Gregory Maguire. Now, it is still available at most bookstores, so you should be able to order it in. I didn't, thankfully, but you might want to order it in now before Christmas because, it may take a little while to get in. Just warning you here and now. But also, I wanted to thank you for coming to this book club. If you wanted to follow us on any of our social medias, all of our links are in the description below. You can follow our Facebook, Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got some very fun stuff coming up on there. And we'll see you guys next time.
Also, Emily has a book out.
She does! Yes, I wanted to ask about that one, actually.
Plug it.
I'll
Plug
wait
away.
until after all of this.
Plug it.
Plug it.
Do it. Yeah.
Okay, it's called Operation Sugar Plum, and it is a modern day Australian retelling of the Nutcracker. So you should buy it now for Christmas.
Planning to read it probably tomorrow. So
Support local authors.
woo!
Woo!
Do you want to plug anything, Ash?
Oh, God. I have an EP coming out. Follow me on Spotify, Ash Hamilton.
Woo!
Yeah.
Do that.
Nice.
That's it.
Follow the artist.
All right. Thank you for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.
So good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Catch us. Bye.
All good chaotic energy in this house. I don't know what that was, but
You hold tea and get so sassy.
Mm-hmm. Like immediately.
no, I'll own it. That's fine. I'll be sassy. Click with this hand, but I genuinely can't do it.